All right, we have a lot to catch up on because I missed last week. We're staying consistently inconsistent. There's an Oakland teacher strike about to happen. We recorded a couple of episodes of the podcast last week. That's why I didn't get to this vlog, because I was also working. Hey, it's a struggle, consistently inconsistent. We've got more thrift store finds coming up down the horizon, down the pike, and we talk about the freelance mentality. All that and more next on the VMN Vlogs. Sam Jack talks back. Here we go. Okay, welcome back. Thank you so much. It's the 8th episode. I know we have a small dedicated audience and it's slowly growing, so thank you so much. And while you're at it, click on the subscribe button or thumbs up this video, thumbs down it, leave a comment, tell me why, and hit that notification bell so you can stay informed when more videos come out. You gotta say it. You gotta get it out there. All right, consistently inconsistent. Now, as I was talking about in the intro, oh man, it's the internal struggle of the YouTube channel. So first of all, I have way too many videos on my channel that are on all different subjects. I really need to make niche channels of each subject, but you know, I'm growing. I'm going to eventually evolve and do that, but I ain't got the time. It's all on the video. It's all on one channel. Check out the playlist, you know, check out some other videos. But yeah, I got to get more into a rhythm. I'm striving and trying, as I said in my first vlog, maybe it was the second vlog, I am setting the intention to be more consistent. And I think I have, just by keeping these vlogs going. Whether or not, hey, if I get busy one week and I can't put it out, I'm not going to kill myself. Just know that if you miss one, it's coming back. And the idea is just, you know, just to keep the juices flowing. So if you're watching these and you're like, dude, he's just rambling, what the heck is this? It's like, it's really just a baseline for me to just keep content out. And as I'm going, more will come. I said in the intro as well that I recorded 2 podcasts last week with Sergio Cilli, director, producer, writer, that I am a friend with, and Afi Ayanna. She was on another podcast. So I'm in the midst of editing that, and it's a one-man band. I really should maybe hire out or figure that out, but I don't really have a working budget as of yet. So anyways, working on those, and because of my work schedule and commitments and everything, like James Rolfe, I didn't have the time. I have to go at 5:30. A little inside baseball for some of you that are AVGN nerds, or of the Cinemassacre Truth Reddit thread or whatever. But yeah, so I got another one scheduled for Friday with Tone Oliver. Shout out Tone Oliver. He's a producer, director in his own right. Tone Oliver Productions. And that's just the way it's going to go. So once I have about 4 or 5, you know, I'm going to be editing and putting them out. You'll see shorts come out. You'll see little snippets. They'll be like 30-second, 1-minute shorts. And I'll try to make 5 and 10-minute clips for the longer conversation. And you will see the full-length podcast come out eventually. Another thing I need to do again, you know, is really establishing my, now I lost the word. Establishing my Patreon page. It's built. I've got different tiers. I just actually have to make the content and make the incentives for those people. So if you're interested in checking out the Patreon page, click through, become a member. There's different tiers. I think it's as low as $1 to $5, maybe $10. I forget offhand. And then some perks are on there now, but I need to build more of those perks and more of the content that you get when you become a member. So if you become a member and you don't get them right away, just DM me or put a comment in one of my videos, and I'll get at you for sure. As far as like just having sort of a basic outline and structure of what I want to say, and having a little pep talk with the guest ahead of time, but for all intents and purposes, really just having a free-flowing conversation about their journey as an entrepreneur, as a freelancer, as a professional creative, you know, navigating this world and what they do, and not having a typical 9-to-5 job, not necessarily working for a company or a corporation, or maybe doing consulting for big companies or corporations, or third-party vendor, or being hired by companies to, you know, service vendors and whatnot. Afi talked a lot about how, you know, in her creative spaces, being a singer and an actor, she really wanted to create a wellness component to that. And as she was teaching, she had these warm-up exercises, breathing exercises, yoga, all these stretching to really warm up the body so it's connected with the mind, and because acting is very physical, mind body connection. So she created material and basically a side business from that, and in addition to her event producing and production coordination and all that. So it was a really good conversation. And same with Sergio. I was like, can I call you Serge in the podcast? Just like, hey, I'm going to call you Serge. Another good conversation about his journey and kind of the back and forth and his development and working with Key and Peele, and going viral with the hey, we got that B-roll, and his newest stuff with the AI auditions. Check out stay. That's why you need to hit the notification bell, and I'll remind you at the end of this vlog, so you can stay informed when that comes out. But I might put a link here somewhere eventually. Over there. And thrift store finds, like I said in a couple vlogs ago, that did the Faulty Towers, haven't edited it yet. Well, I've got a rough cut done, so I'm going to finish that up and put that out this weekend. And more thrift store finds are coming. And I probably need to tighten them up. And like I said, I need an editor to just have fresh eyes on it and maybe punch it up a little bit, because I have it more long form, and they could probably insert some B-roll and just kind of quick cuts and jump cuts and things like that to kind of make it more fun and punchy, and kind of inserts and things. Okay, there is a teacher strike in the Oakland Unified School District that could happen soon. It hasn't happened yet. Don't want to put the cart before the horse. But the negotiations between the school district of Oakland, the Oakland Unified School District, and the Teachers Association are at an impasse. Teachers want a 14% raise. District says there's no money. We're strapped with budget. We even, in fact, have to cut certain enrichments, extracurricular, and other programs, as well as maybe lay off teachers. And I think the teachers want 14% raise, which seems like a high raise, but they haven't gotten a wage increase in a really long time. And teachers are some of the most underpaid professions out there. Another little factoid is there might be overspending or mismanagement of funds in the district. Not accusing them of anything, just kind of what I've heard through certain reporting and things. Specifically, say so it was compared in a report that was, I'm helping some of the parents at my daughter's school, who she's at an elementary school here in Oakland, sort of make sense of this and be supportive. We're going to be part of what's known as a Solidarity School, and those are schools that are going to be set up. They're not really schools; it's more like caretaking while the teachers are on strike. So you can stand in solidarity with the teachers and provide a safe place for the kids to go. If you can't take care of your kids during the strike, you have to go to work. You can't take them with you to work. You can't. Your work isn't flexible. You don't work from home. That kind of thing. And because in the day, with what I do with my work in broadcasting, I'm going to volunteer my time to be a teacher and caregiver. So I've gotten some information from some of the other parents, some of the PTA. It's called the SPTO at our school, but it's basically the Parent Teacher Association. And not only are the Oakland Unified School District is paying specialists out of state a really high salary to zoom in, who are specialized for certain kids, neurodivergent kids, kids on the spectrum, kids that need that extra help, as opposed to hiring someone within the district, within the community, within the neighborhood, locally, and then give them a salary. And then that also benefits our community, because you're giving someone a job here locally, as opposed to paying someone out of state, especially because the salary that they're supposedly getting is upwards of $250,000, $270,000, almost $280,000 a year, where you could pay someone half that, $140,000 here in the Bay Area. And cost of living is high here, but you could probably afford a pretty decent living at $140,000 a year. So, and then the other thing too is it was compared, San Diego Unified School District was compared to Oakland Unified School District. San Diego's a bigger city, bigger metro area than just Oakland itself. Well, Oakland has 33 administrators in their district. San Diego only has 25. So it's the opinion of the teachers, and I don't know all the facts, but we definitely think teachers need raises. We don't want to cut enrichment classes like art, music, science, gardening, other cultural classes, different types of music classes. So anyways, that's what's going on in the Oakland School District. I don't want to spend too much time on it because that's not really the purpose of the vlog, but it does impact my life. And this vlog is about my personal and professional growth. And this is a personal thing because I'm involved. I'm helping other parents make sure the kids are safe and the teachers are supported, not too involved in the strike side or negotiation side, but just helping to organize the community around, providing childcare outside of the school. So kids that don't need help and can just be dropped off. We don't want to teach a curriculum at the school because we don't want to undermine what the teachers teach them during normal school. So we want to do some activities and some educational stuff, keep them occupied, but things that are more active Montessori based as opposed to teaching them specific curriculum for their age group. So I've been helping to plan with that, and it's pretty rewarding. I'm not really organizing too much. I'm just sort of helping to plan. There's some site coordinators that are my lead, but I plan to just be active with the kids and take care of them when I can during the weekday. And yeah, so the final thing I wanted to talk about is the freelance mentality, and it kind of gets back to the consistently staying consistent, inconsistently consistent, or consistently inconsistent. So when you're a freelancer, you really have to bide your time well, and you really have to map out your calendar. You get in this mindset of just like wanting to take every gig you can. I've talked about it before, but it's real. You have to sort of like know when to take everything you get offered, and also to be a little choosy. You have to find that balance, and then know like, hey, I need to take time off for myself. I need to have enough eggs in the basket. I need to make sure my monthly is filled and my calendar is filled out, and then I can kind of like piece in time when I want to take time off, want to spend time with the family. Hey, there's a 3-day weekend coming up. I mentioned that a couple of vlogs ago that I was really intentional about that. We were able to go on a nice family vacation up to the snow. And as you gain more experience and a name for yourself, and you get more work as a freelancer, because people will tell you as you start off, either you go to college or you're right out of high school or whatever, and younger kids are getting more involved with video production and YouTube and all this stuff at an early age, and they circumvent the traditional production model of like working on a crew, working on a team, and do this stuff and just start going live and make a name for themselves. So kudos for that. But if you're in the industry and you're working professionally in the more commercial or broadcast space, you slowly get calls more and more as you work more and you make a name for yourself and your reputation. You're only as good as your last show, right? And you get more clients along the way, or maybe you have one specific client that always calls you, or a main client, you kind of fill in the holes. But that's the freelance mentality. Other things you have to think about is like, the drive time to a place. If it's over a certain mileage, if you get compensated, the Bay Area, we drive all around the Bay Area, and I'm sure there's other metro areas if you're watching from around the country and around the globe. Hopefully, are there other people watching? Is it just an insular thing? I know the viewership right now is low, but it's going to grow. Wherever you're at, I talked to someone that works at like the Carolina area, and he said, well, if it's over an hour drive, they give us, per diem, and they give us a room. We're here, that's not necessarily the case. Like, if it's over 2 hours or so, but like, so we drive back and forth from Sacramento, and we get mileage to drive there, but we don't necessarily get lodging. And, for one client I work with, but if I work for ESPN, for instance, they will give me lodging, especially because they just booked me for like a 4-day event, and I'll be there 4 days. And so it's one thing to do a one and done, or we say a turn and burn, or a set, shoot, strike. So you set it up, you shoot it, you strike it, you tear it down. set shoot strike. Those one and dones, like you might get a little gas mileage, but you're not really looking for lodging unless you're traveling from out of state kind of thing. But those multiple days, yeah, I could drive an hour and a half back and forth every day, and people do it for their office jobs. They come from Tracy and outwards, Sacramento, Central Valley into the Bay Area, or they drive up to Sacramento to work in the big cities. That's kind of where most of the jobs are, right? So, but when you're a freelancer, it's a little different in production. They will pay you for that stuff, and they'll put you up because you have, you might work till 6, 7, 8 at night and then have to be back at 7 in the morning. I just, I'm finishing up a gig up in Napa. Tomorrow's my last day, and they didn't book me for a room, and it's been working out because it's just under an hour drive back and forth. But it would have been real handy to have a room just in case, like late nights, quick turnaround the next day. So you win some, you lose some, and that's just kind of it. And then also keeping track of your expenses. Some clients will pay for your meal or compensate you, some won't. Sometimes it's a walk away, sometimes you get fed. So you got to kind of negotiate those terms. And unless you have a specific contract or you're working for a client that, you're part of a union. So like the freelance sports union that I'm in, IATSE 119, they have the contract. So there's a minimum 10-hour day. Lunches are walkaways unless it's a specific job where that, provided by the client. There's all these sort of set rules. But if you're just getting hired direct from the broadcaster like ESPN and whatnot, you negotiate your own rates. The union stuff is very, very specific as far as the rates go. You get benefits, all these things. But if you get hired direct, you don't get those benefits. You don't get a 401k or a pension the way that when I work these union gigs, that, there's a portion of the paycheck that goes to it. So you have to think, okay, I might get a rate like this through the union, my day rate, my take home rate, but there's the additional money that I get for all those benefits. And you try to get up to that. So like, let's say your day rate, your take home is $550 to $600 for the day or $700 for the day. You get an additional $100, $200 for benefits that you don't see that goes to your pension, 401k, annuity, and healthcare as well. And so that could be, upwards of $700, $800, $1,000, like say a TD, a technical director that's switching live the cameras. I think they get close to 800, an A1 audio mixer gets close to $800 a day, so on top of that, that's like $1,000 with all the benefits. So you really have to incorporate that. And it's also just, the age old negotiation is like, you always aim higher. So when you're negotiating a rate, you try and go for the highest rate and just hope that they don't shut the door on you. If you don't go too high because then they'll laugh in your face. But normally you give them a rate and say, oh, I can't afford that. And then you walk it back. And then, that way you're not just like, oh, I'll do it for 500. And then it ends up being a 10, 12-hour day and you're locked into that rate. Now, hopefully they honor overtime and stuff too. So that's where, if you're familiar with California state law, you might, again, be watching from out of state, but at least in California, 8 hours is the minimum before overtime. But in our industry, we work technically 10 hours. So we get 8 hours straight time and then the 2 hours overtime. So our hourly rate in that 8 hours is actually lower than our technical hourly rate because then those extra 2 hours for the overtime are extra. So it's like it averages out to, your per hour rate, so to speak. So anyways, just a little inside baseball for freelancers. And then there's other freelance space, like if you're a consultant or you're in marketing or you run your own business and you're freelancing, just kind of finding your own clients, doing whatever field it is. I know, I have a friend that's in urban planning and he runs his own business and is a consultant. He freelances for, cities and municipalities, or, you might be in the trades, an electrician or a carpenter or anything, plumber or whatnot. And you don't have your own company. Maybe you have your own LLC that's just sole proprietor or a sole proprietor or S corp or something, but you don't run a business. You don't have an office. You get called from the guy that's the general contractor. It's like, hey, I'm working on a house. I'm going to hire you freelance for this, right? Whatever it might be. Mentality is kind of the same as far as like, okay, what's my rate? Like, what can I negotiate as a freelancer? Because I have a term, I call it the pirate ninja cowboy. We're pirates because we take the highest bag of money that we can, as I just was talking about. We're ninjas because we work in the heat of the night. Often it's restaurant type hours. Sometimes we're working 9 to 5 if it's more of a corporate, or you're in an office. I have a friend that works in Salesforce. Actually, we need to get him on the podcast. Colin Murray, shout out. He's my old business partner from Viral Media Network. So you're a staffer and you work 9 to 5 on video productions, live streams, team meetings that are multicam productions, whatnot. And then you're home at normal hours. But a lot of times, like if I'm doing sports, games start at 7, 8 at night, unless it's happens to be a day game over the weekend. But a lot of times it starts at 7. So we're in at noon or 1. If it's a national broadcast, we're in at 8 in the morning, but we're there when the game starts, then the game ends, and then we got to break down. So we're there 10, 12 hours. We're leaving. A lot of times, if you're in those really long days, you arrive when it's dark and you leave when it's dark. You never see the daylight, you know what I mean? Especially if you're inside an arena. And a lot of my AV professionals, if you're doing hotel work, conferences, corporate stuff, as well, that's very similar. And then you're working a lot on the weekends, nights and weekends. So pirate, ninjas, cowboys. Pirates take the biggest bag of money. Ninjas work in the heat of the night. And cowboys, because we shoot first and ask questions later. So in other words, we do our job, and then as we're implementing, we ask questions. But of course, you want to be careful, and you want to talk with production, talk with the people in charge, and understand what they're asking for and loading in, and just a lot of times you're hired guns. So hired guns, essentially, that's what I was getting at as far as being cowboys, or cowgirls, right? Cow people. Yeah, so you're hired guns, you're mercenaries. So you want to, put your best face forward. You want to be polite, cordial, and you want to be about that business, and you want to be serious, and you want to be professional, and you want to get the job done. So listening to who's ever in charge, doing your skill set to the best of the ability, and like I said before, you're only as good as your last show. So anyways, that's kind of what I basically had to talk about for the vlog. And thanks everyone for watching. Stay tuned for more stuff. Like I said, more podcasts are coming out, more thrift store finds, and you might even see some hiking videos down the road. Anyways, I'm Sam Jack, aka DJ Lumberjack from VMN Videos. This is Sam Jack Talks Back. Thanks again for watching. Peace!